Can you invest in property with a young family? Let's talk about it. Hey guys, Justin Picker back with another video today. Very, very good question that's come in, and a scenario that we are seeing ever more and more is, can you invest in property with a young family? The answer is certainly yes, but we also need to really look at your risk appetite and also family budgets to see if we can make this work. It's a very exciting time to invest in property, but we also need to really make sure that we've got our buffers in place and that you're going to be comfortable and not put yourself or the family in any distress. It's very common to see right now in the place that Sydney's very expensive, Melbourne's very expensive, and we're looking at other alternatives, things like rent vesting. So we're living in the areas that we can afford to live in, but maybe not buy, and then we'll invest where we can also afford. So very common to live in Melbourne, renting somewhere, your family of four, and we've got some additional cash. Can't crack the Melbourne market, so let's go and have a look at Perth or maybe something like Queensland. And it's a very, very common scenario. The reasons why people are doing this is obviously it's the affordability. Also the rental returns and yields are a lot better, so we're not really doing that negative gearing, and also looking for that growth as well, because these areas in Sydney and Melbourne may not increase as much as what we're seeing over in Perth. Now, it's a very good strategy. It's something that I did myself, obviously growing up Eddie as well, and I've now been able to create a solid wealth base for myself and my family. And from experience, I started rent vesting, living with my in-laws, saving as much cash as we could, and just started with these small investment properties. And now we're in a position where we can kind of use the equity from these properties to make the next move or continually invest. So it can be done. When I started doing that in 2015, 2016, when I started, rates were on the way down, and now they've obviously rebounded back up. So people who have started on this journey have obviously had to rejig their kind of lifestyles and budgets, and that's obviously with us as well. We're in the same boat, but it's never been more important than ever to review our finances, having a look at your current cash flows and making sure that you're on top of everything. A couple of key things to look into is, how much disposable income do you have left at the end of each week, fortnight, month? And if it does vary or fluctuate, maybe track this for a 3 or a 6 month period. There are some really good apps out there like WeMoney, Finder, even the CommBank apps, very good at tracking spending. So have a look at your spending, and even have a look at your savings accounts on what those numbers look like each week, monthly, fortnight, to see how you go with that. So that you can see that if you are going to invest in property, you know that on your budgets you can obviously afford that if anything pops up or if a scenario changes. The second thing there as well is, it can be scary, but have confidence in having the right team around you. So speaking to someone like us as mortgage brokers, or having a buyer's agent, someone who knows the area, can give you a lot of detailed information before you go ahead, is going to be crucial. And just ensuring that you're not going to get caught out with anything as well. So that's obviously one big thing too, having the right team. And the third one is there are things like landlord insurances, and having a solid property manager, probably your best peace of mind when you are investing, especially interstate. So it can be very scary if you're living in Melbourne, that if something happens, you can't just take the family and fly over and go and fix it. You need to make sure that you've got really solid property managers looking after that, and also a landlord insurance policy as well. There's a video I did a couple of years ago of a place that got absolutely trashed of mine, worth having a look, but thank God for landlord insurance as it covered that. So all of these things can be very nerve-wracking, very testing if something goes wrong, especially on the family. We just want to make sure we've got those things in place. So just start with one, see how you go. You don't have to go hammer and tong and buy 50 properties right away. Start with one, take that first step, see how you go, and obviously make sure you've got all those things in place, and hopefully it runs as smooth as possible. And this is the fundamentals of what we do, and obviously here to assist you with that. So if you have any questions at all or want to take the plunge, please reach out to us and we'll have a crack. Cheers.